So let me ask you something. Have you ever set one of those giant New Year's resolutions, full of excitement, only to watch it just kind of fizzle out by February? Yeah, you're definitely not alone. We aim for these massive, life-altering transformations, but something always seems to get in the way. So the real question is, what is that something?
Well, the heart of the problem, it's the world we're living in right now. Our attention is constantly under attack. It's being shattered into a million tiny pieces by this storm of notifications and algorithms that are literally designed to keep us scrolling. It's not that we lack ambition, it's that our environment makes real, deep focus almost impossible.
And that leads us straight into what you could call the motivation trap. We think, oh, I just need more willpower, or I just need a big burst of inspiration to get going. But the truth is, we're relying on a system that is, well, fundamentally broken.
And this really shows you the critical difference. See, motivation is that intense, exciting flash of lightning, right? It feels amazing, but poof, it's unreliable, and it's gone in a second. Discipline, on the other hand, it's quieter. It's not as flashy. It's just about showing up consistently. It's repeatable, and this is the most important part, its effects compound over time.
Okay, so if motivation is the trap, what's the escape hatch? It's the micro habit. This is the antidote, and it's grounded in real behavioral science that actually works with our brain's wiring instead of fighting against it.
So what exactly is a microhabit? Well, it's an action that's so small it feels almost ridiculous. But here's the magic trick. When you repeat it, your brain literally starts to rewire itself. See, your brain doesn't actually care about the size or intensity of the action. It only cares that you did it again. It encodes the repetition.
And that really gets us to the most important point of all of this. It's always about consistency over intensity. The science of neuroplasticity tells us that our brains can and do change. So by focusing on these tiny, consistent actions, we're tapping into that ability to create real, lasting change without ever burning out our willpower.
All right, so let's get practical. Here's your toolkit. We're going to break down 5 core micro habits, and I want you to think of these as daily upgrades to your personal operating system, the things that will build a more focused and effective life.
So first up, we're diving into the most foundational habit of them all. This is the one that kicks off your entire day with real intention, and it builds that momentum right from the start.
This is the 2-minute rule reset. The whole idea is to make the starting ritual so laughably easy that your brain can't even come up with an excuse to say no. You're lowering that psychological wall of resistance that so often stops us before we even begin.
And you can see here just how simple we're talking. Want to become a reader? Don't try to read a book, just read 1 page. Want to get fit? Forget the gym, just do 5 push-ups. Want to be a writer? Just journal 1 paragraph. See, the goal at the start isn't about the output. It's just about casting 1 tiny vote for the person you want to become.
Okay, so once you've got that 2-minute reset in the bag and you've kicked off your day with a win, you can start to build on that momentum. It's time to upgrade your environment and your mindset with 4 more really powerful habits. Now, habit number 2 is absolutely critical for the world we live in. It starts with this idea that our behavior is driven way more by our environment than our willpower. So instead of fighting temptation all day, you just engineer it away. You add a little friction. Here's a super practical example you can do right now. Just move your most distracting apps, you know the ones, into a folder off of your home screen. This creates a tiny barrier. That single extra tap, it's often just enough to make you pause and break that mindless muscle memory scroll before it even starts.
Habit number 3. This one is all about reflection. At the end of the day, you take just 3 minutes to become aware of your own thinking. There's a fancy word for it, metacognition, but it just means thinking about your thinking. It's how you stop repeating the same mistakes over and over unconsciously.
You know, this little check-in, it sounds so simple, but it is unbelievably powerful. It lets you consciously see your wins, pinpoint exactly where you might have gone off track, and then make 1 small specific adjustment to be just 1% better tomorrow. It's a system for constant, gentle course correction.
All right, on to habit number 4. Building resilience by voluntarily getting uncomfortable. By intentionally stepping into a little bit of mild discomfort every single day, you train your nervous system to handle stress. You're literally building emotional calluses.
And this can be anything, really. It could be something physical, like a 30-second blast of cold water in the shower. Or it could be something psychological, like finally making that phone call you've been putting off. The specific action isn't what matters. The point is to prove to yourself every single day that you can handle hard things.
And that brings us to our final habit, micro-learning compounding.
The idea isn't to study for hours. It's to dedicate just 10 focused minutes every day to learning something in a field that gives you huge returns, like, say, finance, technology, or health.
And I know what you might be thinking. 10 minutes? What's that really going to do? Well, let's actually run the numbers. That's over 60 hours in a year. That is a massive amount of focused learning, enough to build real, tangible expertise that will absolutely set you apart.
So, you do all these little things day in and day out. What's the big picture? Where does this all lead? Well, it's about something much, much bigger than just checking boxes on a to-do list. It's about the actual evolution of your identity.
See, every single time you complete one of these micro-habits, you're doing more than just the action itself. You're sending a signal to your brain. You're casting a vote for the type of person you want to become. You're not just reading a page, you're becoming a reader. You're not just doing push-ups, you're becoming a disciplined person. It's a powerful feedback loop.
And that really brings us to the core idea of all this. In a world that's optimized for distraction, true, lasting change isn't going to come from those fleeting bursts of motivation. It will belong to the people who master the quiet art of accumulating small, consistent, strategic wins.
So, I'm going to leave you with just one question. Don't think about next year or even next week. Just think about tomorrow morning. What is the one simple 2-minute action you will take to begin?